Well, thank you, everyone, and welcome to Full Compass. My name is Michael Palmer, Vice President of Sales for Allen Heath, and we're pleased to announce and show the dLive digital mixing system from Allen Heath. The dLive digital mixing system is Allen Heath's flagship digital mixing console and an I/O rack configuration. The system is all housed around the DM64 mix engine in this particular case. The system has a capability of 160 live mixing inputs, all running at high resolution 96K sample rate. You actually have the expandability options of having upwards of 832 I/Os on the network at any one given time. We offer multiple third-party format cards such as Dante, MADI, EtherSound. The system will do sample rate conversion between all of those. So very flexible, large-scale, deployable, networked digital mixing system. The surface that you're looking at here is the S7000, which is the largest surface in the family. This consists of 36 faders in 3 banks of 12, as well as a brand new screen technology which is used as a capacitive touchscreen. This system actually has 2 12-inch capacitive touchscreens on board, which offer multi-gesture control as well as pinch and zoom, very similar to the way an iPad works. We wanted users to have some familiarity whether they're used to mixing on an iPad or mixing on a physical analog desk. So all of the controls on the system offer both an analog, rotary, or push-button style control, as well as a digital tactile touchscreen control for the system. The dLive is one of the first products in our family that offers our new deep embedded plugins, which is actually our dynamic effects emulation processing on a per channel basis. We actually have the capabilities of up to 6 different compressor models on every input channel, as well as preamp modeling, parametric EQ modeling, and 16 rack effects built into the system, again, all running at 96K sample rate. Very simple operation. Anyone that's used our GLD or our iLive or our Q-Series mixer can easily walk up to the product and immediately start mixing. The system with the 2 screens is very a familiar workflow for people. The left-hand side screen is always your selected channels processing. The right-hand side screen is what we call our routing or our utilities menu, and essentially it follows whatever is set up with this left side set of banks. So kind of going through a channel strip here, we have an overview in overview mode of the channel strip, of which whatever we select our channel, that channel's overview will show up. That shows you your preamp, your high pass and your low pass filter, your gate, your compressor, as well as your 4-band parametric EQ status. And obviously this being a touchscreen, I can simply touch on any of the controls, and I actually have dedicated knobs for all of those functions within the system. There's no multiple pages or layers go through. It's all one knob per function, very simple to operate. We start looking at the compressor and the gate controls. We actually have multiple different compressors as we were talking about our deep embedded plug-in processing. And you can see as I change the screen, there are some emulation of some industry standard compressors as well as a brand new optical compressor. Those are independently assignable on every single channel. So you can have tons of processing on board and never run out of processing power. We base the system around a brand new FPGA or field programmable gate array processor, which has very large format capability. It has a capability of up to 3,000 audio paths on the system, all running at very high speed, 13,000 cross points per sample. So the system is very fast, very simple workflow, and easily expandable by simply plugging in option cards. The left side of the screen over here gives us views in addition to what the left screen. The right screen over here gives us views based on metering. We can actually look at our effects engines, and we can load up to 16 stereo effects engines. We have a new input and output routing screen that actually has a zoom function. So if you want to really zoom in on the screen, you basically can just take your fingers like I'm doing here. You can pinch and zoom in the inputs and the outputs, as well as functions on the other screen. Scene manager on here, and the system will store 500 scenes, and the scenes can actually have embedded scene recall crossfade times. So very similar to the way a lighting desk works. It can actually fade into those scenes. As well as a new routing overview screen that shows me very visual on the system as far as the routing, where channels are going. You have 64 independent mix buses on the system, so you guys that are doing wireless ears have plenty of stereo mixes to choose from. All of your mix buses, whether it's an aux or a matrix or an output, have got a 4-band parametric EQ, compressor limiter, an insert, as well as a 31-band graphic EQ with 4 different graphic EQ models. So the dLive is our flagship system. It's very expandable, tons of options capability, and as far as channel count, it is the highest channel count 96K digital mixing system available right now. The dLive system was built to be compatible with all different types of workflow that you may be using. Whether you're using this in a recording environment, in an installation environment as a house of worship, or you're out doing festival work and touring with this, we've offered provisions to make it very friendly with all of those different functions you may be operating it for. First and foremost, redundancy options, always a concern when we're doing live, outdoor live production. So we have the capability for redundant hot swap power supplies throughout the system. It's the same power supply that works on the surface, the rack, as well as the expanders. All of your audio connections and your digital snakes are all done in full redundancy mode, as well as even things like the lighting and the illumination. So there was a lot of attention of detail put towards the brightness of the LEDs, the fact that the screens are daylight viewable out in a very bright environment, integrated LED illumination under the hood, which all of the lighting on the desk are all independently dimmable, as well as even offer the function of color changing. So if we're in a theater environment and we need to dim the system down, we can actually go in here where our LED strips are all independently assignable as well as color changing. All of our switches and buttons are all backlit and independently dimmable. So you can actually dim this entire system down for you guys that are using it in a theater. The surface houses no fan, does not require a fan. The rack uses a brand new fan technology that uses arrow blades on it. And the idea with that is the blades cut through the air and don't create any turbulence. So for theater environment, it's very quiet. For outdoors, you can turn all of the brightness very loud, if you want to call it. Everything views really well outside, as well as even all of the faders. The rotary data encoders, as well as all the buttons and switches, are all dust and moisture resistant. So the idea here is it works great outdoors, works great indoors. You can reverse the rails on the rack ears, even as far as on the MixRack, and mount it forward or backward depending on your application. So a lot of uses with the dLive system. For further information, you can go to fullcompass.com or contact your Full Compass sales professional.